Life can change in an instant. For many wheelchair users, the struggle to push forward is a daily challenge.
After years of development and countless prototypes, we created Rib Grips, the revolutionary wheelchair hand rim covers with built-in ribs for ultimate grip and comfort.
No more slick surfaces, no more heat burns, just pure, reliable grip. Rib Grips, empowering you to push forward with ease. Rib Grips, get a grip on your freedom. Discover the difference. Visit ribgrips.com and use promo code GRIP today. You just found the perfect product that helps with staying cool during hot summer runs. No more gross warm water. Stay cool with this product from Gear Handle. This hydration tube cover helps keep your water cool and easily accessible. Stay hydrated during those long summer runs or even delay from freezing in the winter. Plus, they're compatible with various brands of water bladders and come in various colors. Visit gearhandle.com and use promo code H2O today.
Caroline, you should tell them about the newest thing that Bloody Happy Hour is doing.
A Patreon.
It's a Patreon. What is that?
That means you're basically like a VIP member, and there's 2 different levels that you can, subscribe to, and you get some perks. You maybe get like merch a little earlier. You get
exclusive merch.
You could get first dibs on signing up for a live show. You get episodes with no commercials.
You get our video because our video is no longer available on YouTube. It is only on Patreon. And the most important to me is you get videos of our live shows. So if you are far away and you couldn't make our last live show, it will be on the website. We're going to record this future live show. It's going to be on Patreon, but also bonus episodes each month. You guys tell us all the time you want more episodes. This is a way for you to get more episodes. So you're going to get our basic Tuesday, Thursdays that we always put out, right? But if you're on a Patreon, you're VIP, you're going to get more.
I can't wait to talk about in detail some more stories because I always have a lot of details I want to go to. I can law-splain. I might read a book.
They just unsubscribed. This is also going to be the exclusive place that Dirty Chat is going to go to. So if that is breaking some of your hearts, just go ahead and subscribe now. In order to hear the full content, it's going to be Patreon. Where do they go again?
Patreon.com/Bloody Happy Hour.
Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
And this is your Bloody Happy Hour Tuesday edition. Quickie. Hello, Quickie.
What's a quickie?
It is just a real quick episode where we're going to tell you what's in the news and circle back to some of our old stories, which is exactly what I'm doing today. But first, we got 2 shout-outs. Caroline is loving her Bloody Happy Hour cup. She was just talking about how it keeps her beverages so cold.
So cold. It almost makes it into like a slushie.
A slushie. Did you go to Sonic right before this?
And also, I should save my story about it for Thursday's episode because this is the quickie, so there's no stories. Sorry.
But also, we're drinking on some Blue Chair Bay rum. Shout out to Sweet Pea's best friend, Zeb, who later on could be an accomplice. So remember this name, too.
Okay.
Just joking.
Got it down.
Gave us some lime rum. So we took a quick break from tequila because this is free.
Actually.
And it's great.
Yeah, quick break from tequila.
Quick break from tequila. But his lime rum, and I just added a little bit of club soda with it, is so good, so refreshing, so limey. I love lime. Love lime. Love lime.
She loves some lime.
So in the news right now is, I hate to even say her name again.
Oh, God. No, please don't tell me Sherry Papini or something.
No, Sarah Boone.
Oh, yes.
And you know what? We're just going to beat this dead horse until we get to the very, very end. And she gets
will
sentenced,
not stop.
and then she's not going to stop again. And then we're just
going to appeal, and it's going to be all the things.
So you'll continue to hear about Sarah Boone. But remember the last time Caroline reported, she is representing herself. What's it called? Per se?
Yeah.
Per se.
Per se.
And she is now complaining to the judge because she feels that she is very unprepared to represent herself due to the lack of internet that's in jail. I mean, what do you expect? You think you got just the best Wi-Fi and your own laptop? And I think you by law are supposed to have a library time.
Yeah, but she wants like all the hours of all the days. At first she's like, I want a laptop, and then this, and then she's like, well, I tried to open it, and then I opened this folder, and then this folder, and then that folder, and then this thing didn't show up, so then I couldn't access this file, so now I need hard copies. When they originally offered her hard copies, and now she wants not the laptop, she wants the hard copies, but then the hard copies might get stolen from somebody because somebody in this jail cell might take the hard copies.
She's oppositional at its finest. She also is asking for her trial to be media free, and because she says the media is exploiting her case for ratings and publicity, and she has her right to privacy.
She has millions of fans.
She has a right to privacy, Caroline.
Okay, yeah,
She's
has
FERPA.
Exactly. She has a right to privacy. You
but
know what?
The judge
I'm sorry.
ruled that she did not meet the burden of proof, and
Sarah,
it will be there.
You lost your right to privacy when you zipped up your boyfriend in the suitcase and left him to die.
And laughed at him.
And she's like literally dying to get her phone. She keeps requesting it. She's like, because they're going to have, they got to have discovery. That's what she's complaining about.
She probably still hasn't even seen this video, has she?
She saw it when she was interrogated by the police, and she didn't know it was on her phone because she got
just that drunk.
She had all that wine, but she doesn't drink and she doesn't get drunk.
She sounded like she was really slurring. The hearing is scheduled for September 3rd, and they have arranged for her to now see the evidence in person because for whatever reason, but she's not going to be able to touch any of it. There's going to be the evidence person there to police that.
Because the prosecution and the defense both have to be able to look at what is going to be like able to be presented in court. And she wanted that to be not public because she thinks that if it is public, which it shouldn't be public, but it's typically a lawyer, if you have one, knows how to ask about that and make it to where that's not like in front of the cameras and you can do like a private whatever. But she didn't want the jury to be tainted. I'm like, ma'am, everybody knows what you did.
The more you speak out, the more you're hated.
Yeah,
and so you're not going to get a fair trial. She said that she would have a good argument. Hold on, let me go back to it.
Yeah, but she is just
she's currently deciding what she wants to wear at her trial because the judge asked her and she said she wanted to wear skirts.
After they had already discussed whether, because they were talking about if she's going to be cuffed or not.
Yes, her ankles will her ankles, her hands will not.
Because right now, when she's in these hearings, she's handcuffed.
Yes.
And so then she was requesting to not be handcuffed during her trial, and then they said, well, yeah, you can either be handcuffed or you can be like your ankles can be like chained to the floor, or you can have like basically like a shock collar but on your leg. Yeah. And it's like at your calf. Which means you need to be seated and wear pants. If you want to get up and move or barely walk a little bit, like you have to.
Yeah.
And so go ahead.
Yeah. So she was like, I'm going to wear a skirt. And they're like, well, they'll be able to see your.
Yeah. They're like, well, they will be able to see your monitor or your thing and your shock collar. And she's like, it just like makes everything extra and she's like, can I, please, can you tell me if I can do this? Oh, please, can you tell me I don't understand why I would have to wear the, blah, blah, blah. Like, just the way that she talks is
And
cringe.
Ted Bundy didn't have to. He got up and he walked around the court. I don't think I remember seeing not one chain on him, but maybe they learned their lesson during that time.
What about the crazy dude?
With the hair?
Yes.
I can't.
And he walked around.
I know.
But he could have had a shock thing on.
He might have, and it was covered up with pants. And maybe so did Ted Bundy. Before leaving, she did file a motion with the court requesting money to pay for a neuropsychologist as part of her defense. So she wants a full neuropsychological exam, ma'am. No, you don't. You do not want that truth coming out, because they're not going to say you're psychotic. They're going to say you're a narcissist.
Yes.
And it's not going to help you.
I feel like this is where, like, maybe her attorneys maybe clash, because they're like, we can bring in a psychologist, but they ain't going to say what you want them to say. They're going to say what they're diagnosing you with.
Yes.
And it's not that, I don't know what she even wants. She's trying to go for the battered spouse syndrome or whatever. Like, she's saying she's battered. Bitch, y'all both were battered. Y'all both beat y'all both beat each other up and, like, push each other around and send each other to prison or to jail.
Yeah. So there's that. The Lacey Peterson special came out on Netflix yesterday, I believe, on the 14th.
Oh, my.
And I think it's called The American Murder. Yep, American Murder, and it looks really good. And I actually did a refresher of the case, and I can see how he may end up getting a new trial.
No, how?
Just because the police basically from the beginning thought Scott Peterson did it, okay? Which he probably did, but they didn't follow any other leads. They didn't try to rule out anybody else, even though there were other things that came up that they should have ruled out. So, for example, at the time Lacey went missing and was allegedly walking her dog, there was a robbery right across the street. Could that have had something to do with it? There's also like 8 other missing pregnant women at the time. So pregnant women in that area were being targeted, and bodies were, they were killed. They showed up dead. And so that people were alleging, like, could this have been a serial killer? But that did not come up in the trial. It was like kind of like a secret, I guess. Yeah. But now that they didn't present it to the lawyers. They did all this extra stuff. They didn't tell it to Scott Peterson's lawyers.
Okay.
So there was hiding evidence. So now it's coming out that all this evidence was hidden. So did he get a fair trial?
Okay, well, what about Amber Fry?
And then that's still
in the vigil,
good.
And he's at the vigil talking about how much he misses her.
Or
that he was in Italy or something like that.
He was at the vigil laughing. Okay, but they're also saying, like, media really took off. So they're at the vigil laughing. But then if you look at before and after the vigil, a little girl, like his little niece, came up to him and, like, gave him a hug and was really sweet. And his little niece made him, like, smile. And it was, like, the best part of the vigil. But the media grabbed that smile and took it and ran with it.
Yeah, I can see that.
His hair had been dyed for a while, but they acted like it had just been dyed.
And why did he dye it like that? It was awful.
The money that he had on him when he was allegedly leaving, he didn't just withdraw it. Somebody had paid him back a bunch of money that they had owed him, and the banks were closed that day because it was whatever holiday, so he couldn't deposit it, like, in the bank, so he had the money. So there's
this sounds like a whole damn Dirty Chad episode.
I know. All these things that, like, could have been explained away.
Uh-huh.
He never got a chance to explain away. They never gave him a chance in court.
Lawyers not explain it.
They just never gave him a chance to explain it away in the court. And then the jury I guess, tampering. I guess it was evident that the jury was like on Google and watching all these videos and watching news,
Would they even
following the trial.
I thought there was, I don't know, it might have been a different trial where it was somebody, I think it was a different trial.
Anyways, so a bunch of stuff like that I guess is.
How can they go and look at what the jurors were watching?
But I think we're going to hear from him. And
I mean, here's the thing.
Speak.
For my own selfish reasons, I would love for there to be a new trial. But damn, like, how long has it been? I don't even know when it happened.
93.
Like, so you're going to tell me you've been in there and you're like just adamant you didn't do it. So 20 years or 30 years. I mean, so like, is Chris Watts going to come out and say this again then after him?
He never admitted that he did it, though. He's always denied it. Scott Peterson. Chris Watts admitted it then, admits it now, says it was Jezebel Nikki that convinced him. 20 years, yeah, so it's 20 years after being sentenced. He is now back in the news, and so anyways, he's back in the news.
I wonder when he's going to make a ruling, like the judge.
I don't know. Well, remember they're getting the tape.
Yeah, like you can still, I don't know how all that works. I don't believe any of it. Like, how can you still have, from 20 years ago, you still have like DNA on a piece of tape?
I guess you're supposed to keep it a certain way. Isn't that crazy?
Yes, that is crazy. I need to go to a lab and like just look at stuff like this.
Chandler Bing, Matthew Perry.
Oh, yeah.
There has been 5 people charged in connection with Matthew Perry's death, including his assistant and 2 of his doctors.
Ketamine.
Yes. So the U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada announced that doctors supplied Perry with large amounts of ketamine because of the amount of money he was willing to pay for it. They took advantage of his addiction to fatten their pockets. So, October 2023, he died of a ketamine overdose. And it turns out that he had received several injections on that day from his live-in personal assistant. They had found enough ketamine in his system to put someone asleep for surgery. Like, so it's like the way you go in, like when they give you surgery and they give you that general anesthesia and you're out, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how much he had in his system while in the hot tub, which is why he drowned himself, right? But if you look at, because ketamine infusion therapy is legal and is a thing, and he was getting it, but his last appointment was 11 weeks earlier because you can only get so much at a time, and it is supposed to help with depression and all that stuff. So in between his ketamine infusion therapy, he had way too much in his system, but because they were giving it to him like illegally, over the counter, under the counter, I don't know how you call it.
He's like, yeah, give it to him, right? Like he's consenting.
Yeah, but you are a doctor, so you know that he does not, you know his addiction history.
Uh-huh.
And you know that what the dose he's supposed to have for this infusion therapy, but you're giving him like 20 times the amount of that just because he's willing to pay for it.
I guess he just he wanted more and more and more, and they gave it to him.
And they just kept giving
it
to him.
Okay.
And it really is exactly what he was doing with all the other drugs.
Yeah.
With the other pills, he had multiple doctors. So he just switched. Oh, it just breaks my heart, like, to be that addicted and want to stop, and then you find something that helps you, but then you just get addicted to that, and you do the same thing with just a different drug.
Yep.
Over and over and over. That breaks my heart. So, possible charges that they could get is distribution of a controlled substance, unlawful act, So an unlawful act that rose to a criminal negligence or recklessness, because it is negligent and it is recklessness that you kept prescribing this, or involuntary manslaughter and mail fraud because they were mailing it out to him.
Oh, shit.
And his assistant was injecting it with him to him, which his assistant was probably doing what he was asking her to do. She probably had no idea that, like,
I just saw right now that
14 shots a day
federal charges are coming
for them.
Yeah.
Good. I don't know. Good.
How is it? Maybe because they were doing it across state lines. I think that's how the feds get involved. If it's like one state, like if a
multiple doctors,
from multiple states. But like, why was it? Gosh, criminal charges where ketamine may have resulted in a death. Effects. Yeah. Okay. Well.
So we have an escaped convict again. We've had a couple of those during our Bloody Happy Hour reign. Ramon Alston, 30 years old, escaped from a transport van while being taken to a medical facility Tuesday, August 14th in Hillsborough, North Carolina. So he was convicted on the Christmas Day murder. So in 2015, on Christmas Day, a one-year-old or 5-year-old, I think a 5-year-old, Malaya Williams, was shot. So he was in the car with 3 men where they opened fire, like assuming like a drive-by, and the little girl was outside playing. She was an innocent bystander and got hit by a stray bullet outside of her apartment on Christmas Day. Heartbreaking. In 2018, he was convicted for first-degree murder and sentenced to life. Now, there's no proof that he actually pulled the trigger, but you were in the car. And I think he was the only one that was actually brought charges. The other 2 men, never got charges brought against him. He was sentenced to life in prison. He had an appointment at a gastroenterology unit,
gastroenterologist.
And had an appointment, and so they were taking him in his van to there. And before he can get out to his appointment, he had somehow slipped his leg restraints off and jumped out of the van with his hand restraints still on, and because they have that chain around your waist, and it's hooked to your handcuffs, and took off running into the woods. He gone. He's a runner. He's a track star.
He's a runner. He ain't going that far because he's still chained. How do you get them chains off?
Well, he's chained with his arms, so he ain't gonna be able to be very aerodynamic. But them legs are moving.
Yep.
So, and it was just right across the road. Like, he saw an opportunity and he took it. He was still wearing his waist chain and his handcuffs. He was wearing. This is what I don't get. Like, why is he wearing real clothes? He was wearing a gray shirt, brown pants, and some white New Balance tennis shoes. Probably his girlfriend probably sent him some new shoes, and they're probably all dirty in the woods.
Yep. Here's your escape shoes.
He has family and friends in the area. People are urged to keep their doors and windows locked and to stay inside. They brought dogs in, and they found tracks, and they tracked the tracks, but the scent ran cold. And as of right now, there are no leads of where he is. And it's been a little over 24 hours when I'm telling you the story. So maybe he'll be caught by the time
what's his name again?
Hear this. His name is Ramon Alston. So
Ramon.
It's time to put a picture of him on your windshield.
On your driver's dash, on your steering wheel.
But look at this mugshot. Like, you can't even take him seriously. Look at that big old cheese.
Looking like clown.
Somebody's gonna let him in and cook him some green beans.
It's probably gonna be you. Be like, hey, you like my lights?
Oh my goodness. So why run? You're just gonna give somebody a reason to shoot you. Okay, but just don't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just
like,
going to get laid. Maybe he's doing like that. Who did I get? What story did I do where she escaped? Carla Faye Tucker? No. The Killer Mommy, where she escaped and she got laid, and then they caught her, and she's in the bed with her inmates. What
can't
mama
remember.
was that?
I know.
She's a shitty mama. Not Carla Faye Tucker.
I don't know who that is. I don't remember, and I always remember the names.
Somebody's screaming it at us right now. What mama was that? Dirt leg mama. She killed her kids. She was a hoe.
Was it Diane Downs?
Diane Downs!
Oh, okay.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I think this is my last story. Almost last story. Former running back jailed after a 5-year-old girl found lifeless at his Las Vegas apartment. So this girl was found dead in 2019. He was just sentenced. So the story is he would force this 5-year-old girl to work out as a punishment for being chunky. What is it?
Is
with
this
these
his
kids?
kid?
It is his girlfriend's kid.
Oh.
When she was found
You need a new girlfriend
lifeless,
if you're gonna do that.
Or girlfriend needs a new boyfriend.
Well, yeah. You probably don't need to date this girl if you have an issue with
With the kid.
the kid so much that
So when the girl was found, she had 20 broken ribs, a lacerated liver, internal bleeding, bruises to her heart and diaphragm, and she had multiple head contusions.
Oh gosh! All
What
because
kind of workout is that?
I don't know.
Her
I've
name
never
was
done that workout.
Lariah Davis. She was the daughter of his girlfriend named Amy Taylor, who also pled guilty to second-degree murder and child abuse charges because she admitted to sitting on top of the child while she disciplined her.
Was he trying to make her like skinny?
None of it has logic. I think it's all a lie. I'll tell you my theory in a minute. She said that Lariah did fall backwards a couple of times and hit her head when they made her, because they made her do so many sit-ups. So I guess she's explaining away the head contusions.
Yeah. If you made me do that many sit-ups, I would sit back and hit my head too.
The football player's named Sierra Wood. So he confessed to making her run sprints and do sit-ups and do wall squats in the apartment, and he told police that he was trying to get her on the right path. Because she was so chunky at 5 years old.
Oh my gosh! 5? Was she like?
Who wants a scrawny ass 5-year-old kid? Like, you want a little, you
Okay.
want some little chubby cheeks.
You know, I kind of take offense to that 'cause I was kind of scrawny, and I was eating Swiss cake rolls and Doritos and pizza rolls and Hot Pockets and all the things. But maybe she was eating all the same things and she just didn't have a good metabolism. So he should have just beat his wife or girlfriend.
Sierra Wood went to
Or maybe if
Notre
she
Dame.
got 2
She
years
probably
older.
wasn't chunky. I didn't look at a picture. Yeah, maybe you change what she's eating and don't make her do wall sits.
Maybe she's just
But I think it's all a lie.
Okay. Oh, you think it's a lie.
Sierra went to Notre Dame and was drafted by the Houston Texans. He also played for the Patriots, Ravens, Seahawks, Bills, and then eventually went to the Canadian League. He pled guilty to second-degree murder, felony child abuse, and will be eligible for parole after 10 years. He entered the Alford plea.
Oh, gosh.
Which is an admission of guilt, but also allowed him to maintain his innocence. And that's basically like, okay, I admit that I have all this evidence against me, and even though I didn't do it, it's easier for me to just say I'm guilty, right? It's basically what it was, what Michael Peterson said, because he was never going to find the owl that killed his wife, so he might as well.
The owl was never going to confess. The owl was never going to confess.
So he might as well confess, because there's no way to get it from the owl. We need to run that episode back.
Yeah, we do.
So both got second degree murder. My issue is like, Mom, you co-signed on this? Even if it was workouts, like you thought this was okay? To me, that makes it so much worse. But I think it's all a lie. I think they whooped her ass and she ended up lifeless, because I don't give a shit how many sit-ups you do. You're not going to have 20 broken ribs and a lacerated liver. Lacerated river.
How does your liver get lacerated from sit-ups?
Uh-huh.
Is that
And I
what
don't
they
care-
said? They said she died from too many sit-ups.
I told you. Okay, here were her injuries:
I
20
know,
broken
I
ribs, lacerated liver,
Oh my God.
lacerated liver, internal bleeding, bruises to her heart and diaphragm. What exercise does that?
Burpees.
And
We're off the rails.
multiple head contusions.
Listen, that happens to me on a daily basis, so I don't know what you're talking about. This is not fake.
They
This is
whooped
real.
her ass.
Sometimes when I'm doing burpees, I knock my head on the ground, and then I go and I do a burpee sit-up crunch, and then I have another contusion.
And then you have broken ribs and a lacerated liver.
Yes, because I'm breathing so hard, and then I start drinking. So
Can you say lacerated liver?
yes, lacerated
3 times.
liver, lacerated liver, lacerated liver.
It's impossible for me. I cannot do it. I'm not saying it anymore. Okay, so there's that. I think they just whooped their ass. They're going to jail, but only for about 10 years. And I don't think
And
that's
they'll probably
enough time.
they'll probably go to jail for like 3 days, and then they'll be out.
Yeah, and 10 years is, well, I don't know how much they got total, but that was a horrible story.
That was.
And even if they did, I don't understand. It's like the third story we've talked about with these parents making these little kids work out so hard that they die. Remember the Nancy Grace and the daddy story?
Yes, what do you
The treadmill dad.
like? What?
There's
You
nothing
just-
wrong with making a kid be
go-
active.
Be
and work
active,
out,
but like
till they
just because
die?
you hate yourself doesn't mean you have to like express your hatred towards yourself and put it on your kids.
On your kid.
Just don't have kids or don't date somebody with kids. Ugh.
And then what's her excuse? He could probably say, "Oh, I probably got CTE," but what's yours, Amy Taylor, or whatever your name is?
I guess he just got that.
What's the mama's
He got the
excuse
D.
for letting that happen?
I guess she's, hypnotized.
All that. I hate it.
I don't know. People are terrible, and that's all I have to say about that.
Last one is kind of a semi-happy one. Is a 50-year-old cold case has been closed, and a family gets a little bit of peace.
Oh my gosh, 50 years?
August 3rd, 1973, Martha Smith Helmick of Bridgewater, Virginia, was last seen with her sister Flora and family friend John Keaton. They were on their way to a family reunion in Kentucky. So John was driving. Flora was John's, I think, maid, and Martha was the sister of Flora. So they were riding with him to his family reunion, driving his 1967 Ford Fairlane. No idea what that looks like, but it sounds like a classic.
Never heard of it.
They never showed up to the reunion, and they were never seen again. Dun, dun, dun.
Did they drive off a cliff?
Exactly what happened. 2016, during a training exercise, the Lexington, Kentucky Fire Department were doing like sonar radar, just like training, and they saw vehicles on the floor of the Kentucky River. Were you there?
I was.
And they started pulling them out of the river, and a bunch of them were stolen because you could still like run the VIN. A bunch of them were stolen, but this one was so old they couldn't get any identification from it. And when they took it to the lot, they sifted through it and they found bones. One of the bones was a foot bone, and it still had stockings wrapped around the bone with fishing string.
They were trying to catch the fish, and they were trying to catch the leg almost.
What?
That's what that
Are you
means.
7 years old?
That's what that means. Wait a second. So the sock was still on the leg?
Pantyhose.
Yeah.
It was a bone, a foot bone, and it was
Pantyhose.
pantyhose,
That
and like
is
a
the-
little bit of a leg bone.
Listen, if this is the
kept
kind of
on by
horror
fishing
movie I
string.
want to see, like this is kind of like that's scary.
And then there was a little old purse that was still in the car. And so this fire chief was
they
like,
just found one leg or
they
bone.
only found a couple of bones. Like it was.
Because I would
like
think bones have been swept away,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe because I don't know.
Well, and then I was like, was the windows open? I mean, this was 50 years. Were the windows still like up? So they found these in 2016. The car was decayed, like so decayed when they were taking it out, it like felt like broken half, where they did take it out in 2 pieces. So the story is they all went missing together and they ran off some cliff or some bridge and went into the water. But then I was like, where are the other 2 people? Did they kill her and run away together? It's where my first mind went. But then I was like, their bones are probably just in the river.
And did they use that one bone with the stocking to get DNA to match to the person, to the friend? That
just came back. So
and then they're like, oh my God, they were on the way to the family reunion.
Yes.
And they all threw it missing.
Well, first he was DTF. He was like, somebody's family needs some answers. And it was so decayed that they knew it was going to be, and like it'd been in the water so long, they knew it was going to be hard to extract DNA. So he started looking up cold cases and cold cases and cold cases. So he found.
He had a lot of time.
He was dedicated to the cause.
DTF.
Which this was how many years ago? 8 years ago when they found it, and so it's just now all coming together right now. That's
math.
how long it took. Was it right math?
Yeah.
But he found this case and he called one of the family members and they were like, yes, we remember the day. We remember exactly what they were wearing. We remember the purse. So when they pulled out the purse kind of matched it. The car matched it. So the story matched it. They just had to match DNA. But the only relative that was close, that was still alive, was like distant cousins. But finally, positively identified. And he himself drove the remains to Virginia so that Martha Smith can be buried next to her husband.
Oh.
But listen,
It was just
she was already like
stocking her
90.
leg.
She was already like 90-something years old, like when she went missing. So she would be like 100.
Oh my gosh.
They went missing when they were really old.
Oh no!
But they didn't have any kids, so their
no.
extended family were missing them.
Where they were swingers. Turns out they're swingers.
I don't know what kind of triangle this was, but
it's okay. We're glad they're found, even if they were swingers, because we don't kink shame here.
No.
Mm-mm.
They have answers.
No, they have answers.
Okay.
Matters.
There's my Quickie. We'll see y'all next week for a full episode. Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
Bye.
That is the story about the famous TikTok killer Isabella Guzman.
I think she needs to go to jail.
I do too.
Real jail. Good story. Never heard of it. I've never even seen her on TikTok.
I thought, well, because I think it was from such a long time ago, like 2013, I think I said.
What? TikTok wasn't even born then.
Well, shit. Maybe it's 2023 then. But, maybe that was when she was born. But I do know that I had to look to see if I had covered this case because I'd seen that and I've heard about the case before, and I was like, did one of us tell the story? Because I can't keep up.
Never heard of it. So but there's a lot of different TikTok ones that I've seen, but I've never heard of that one.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. And there's your second episode of a kid going crazy and killing a parent or two.
Yeah.
Just because they're, for no reason. A good parent. Killing good parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate it. Okay. Well, take a drink, and we will see y'all next week for a whole new week of Bloody Happy Hour. Send this episode to a friend and tell them to listen to some more episodes. It was in 2013. Okay. So then TikTok just got a hold of it late. Or the trial. Maybe the trial was later.
True.
Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
Bye, y'all.
Goodbye.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.
Are you a podcaster? Let's talk podcast hosting. Are you tired of your current podcast host? Need real support in a community that gets it? At Rogue Media Network, we offer top-tier podcast hosting services to help you thrive. From hosting and distribution to dedicated support, we've got you covered. Starting as low as $25 a month. Join our community of passionate podcasters today. Contact us at hello@roguemedianetwork.com.